Everyone was hoping for a storm. The air was heavy with heat. The summer had been humid, sweaty, and affected everyone with a muggy and miserable mood. The pace was slow, close, claustrophobic. But some rain would change that. It was Sunday, August the 4th, 1577, in the small Suffolk town of Bungay. And the sun had been beating down for days with its relentless rays. But as the weary afternoon wore on, darkness started to roll across the skies of Bungay. Finally, a storm to clear the air and break the monotonous heaviness. But this was no ordinary summer storm. The sky was suddenly pitch black, as if nighttime had already draped across the land. As the first huge drops started to fall and splatter upon the ground, the people of Bungay ran for cover. Some darted into nearby buildings, and some sought refuge from the downpour inside the church of St. Mary at the center of town. With the rain came thunder, then hailstones. Inside the church, people covered their ears from the loud crashing and earth-rattling booms from the storm. And then, with an almighty crack that seemed to echo from heaven itself, lightning. The church shook, trying to withstand the storm's ferocity. The barricaded door flew wide open from the winds. And out of nowhere, in the heart of the church, appeared a black dog. A massive black dog. Its teeth bared in a snarl, its eyes flaming with bright light. A dog like the devil. A dog surrounded by fire. It then jumped into a rage and tore through the church, tearing to shreds anyone who stood in its way. It showed no discrimination or mercy to its targets, and left limbs lying in its wake. Its attack was violent and ruthless, a complete stranger to the church. Reports from the time don't record just how many the dog killed and maimed at Bungay. But once it had finished its clawing and bloodlust on the terrified townsfolk, it ran off just as the storm subsided. And almost as if quaking in fear itself, the church steeple collapsed through the roof in a thunderous clap. Nearby, the storm broke out over the neighboring village of Blackbird. The dog appeared in their village church too. This time, it killed 2 grown men and a young child in its ambushing advance. And then, as the storm passed, the Black Dog of Bungay disappeared. Villagers struggled for a long time with the devastation wreaked by the storm and its unexpected horror hound. The storm would be remembered, and author Abraham Fleming wrote a book called A Strange and Terrible Wonder. He tried to describe the events. This black dog, or the devil in his likeness, running around down the body of the church with a great swiftness, did hereby wrong the necks of two persons, both at one plain instant backwards, in even such a strange moment that they dropped and died. Incredibly, this was not the first time the people of Bungay had met the fiendish canine. It had appeared in legend centuries before, by a lady running errands to Bungay Castle. But the people of the 16th century considered it just that, a legend. But it had the same black bristled fur, the same burning hot eyes and sharp teeth. This beast had been spotted numerous times through the years, and also seen in the corridors of the castle itself. Always snarling, bearing fearsome fangs, and seldom casting its own shadow. For some, there was no doubt. The dog was the devil incarnate here on earth to cause havoc and pain. But for others, the answer was not quite so simple. The strange dog's visitations stretched back many centuries, to the time of Hugh Bigode, the very first Earl of Norfolk. Bigode was a man known as much for his wickedness as for his opulent wealth. The year was 1135. King Henry I was dead, and the country had fallen into civil war. It was a bitter and bloody battle for the very throne itself. A lawless age, an age of fear, corruption, and confusion. It was an age in which Hugh Bigode thrived and exploited. With an entourage of similar-minded rebels, Hugh Bigode spread fear throughout Suffolk and East Anglia. He burned people out of villages, captured residents, had them tortured, and demanded ransom for the release of the innocent. A true medieval racketeering endeavor. He made enemies and extorted money by wicked measures. The wayward Earl was said to have made the grass wither in his shadow. The new king eventually put an end to Hugh's reign of personal terror and sent him out on a crusade to the Holy Land as punishment to atone for his sins. Hugh Bigode later died while in exile in Israel, never returning to Bungay. Few believed that the soul of a man so evil would enter heaven. It is said Hugh Bigode was condemned by Satan himself to spend the rest of eternity in the form of a ghostly dog protecting the gates of hell. But he was granted full access upon his waking to earthly churches, but only during the thunder of storms. But the story persists through the centuries, and the legend of the Black Dog doesn't end on that stormy August day back in 1577. A black dog was seen to appear again in nearby Cambridgeshire in the 1800s. It even made an appearance as recently as 1945. The most recent account comes from testimony of John Harries. Harries was cycling from Durham in Norfolk to Royal Air Force Base at Swanton Morley when a black dog appeared to him on the roadside in the rain. A black dog with flaming eyes and bared teeth. John Harries had supposedly never heard of the legend of the black dog before. Who knows when or if the black dog of Bungay will return again, or what its origins really are. A dog's instinct is to protect. So what would this dog be protecting all this time later? Is it the evil spirit of Hugh Goad, resentful because he never returned home and came back to protect his region? Is he somehow confined, yet allowed to prowl away from his prison while guarding the eternal gates of hell? Does he come to gather more victims with him, take to the afterworld to appease his master, the devil himself? He may carry the soul of Hugh Goad through the centuries, but perhaps he was just a broken man who spent his eternity hiding from himself. But some say the black dog of Bungay still lies in wait through Suffolk and East Anglia today, waiting to strike. Reports of a similar, massive-sized black dog have been frequently seen in modern day, especially roaming various churchyards and seen on the roads at night. It's no wonder that some of the more superstitious residents of the region still shudder every time the thunder strikes.